Alright guys, let's get after it. Hi everyone, my name is Derek Woodward and I'm here to show you ASEA Connect 2.0. Tonight's training is going to go over the mobile application. I'm going to run you through some of the basic functions of the app and how you're going to want to use it to better benefit your business and show you how you can use this app to your fullest potential. And so what I have here in front of you is a slideshow that I'm going to kind of put you through here real quick just to kind of show you a couple items of how tonight's call is going to go. We have a nice full room here tonight, and so I do want to make sure I cover some bases here on this. So we meet twice a week, Tuesday morning and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, such as this session. Now, we like to bounce back and forth between the desktop platform and the mobile platform, and the reason we like to do that is if we try to put them both into one training session, we are going to go over our hour block, and so it's really good for us to kind of stay focused on each of the apps, and we can definitely take some time and answer some of those questions. The good thing about all of our calls here today is that every single thing that we do here is all recorded, and we all have access to them here on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and also our home page. I'm going to pull this into frame here while we're talking about our recorded trainings, because this is where you're going to find a lot of our content that we are releasing here for the app. You're going to see the latest and greatest information on ASEAConnect.me. M as in Mary, E as in Edward. ASEAConnect.me. This is where you're going to find the information about our newest features, our newest releases, how to get the app, how to download the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, and things like that. So this is a really good resource for you. I don't want you to ignore this. Up at the top of the page here, I do want you to pay attention to this training button here. This training button is where you're going to find all of our up-to-date trainings. Now, you guys may already know that we've done this probably about 10 or 15 times now, and so I only have 2 listed here, and the reason is because we're migrating them from our ASEA Global YouTube account into our new ASEA Connect YouTube account, and so that's why you're only seeing 2 here for now, but as we get through this convention and this webvention, we will start migrating the rest of them over there just like so. The good thing about our recorded trainings here that I want to make sure to point out to anyone who's new to our calls here is if you click on this link here at the top to jump you over to our YouTube page, you can watch our video, but down here at the bottom I have these little timestamps that's going to really help you find the areas of my trainings that's really going to benefit you, such as one-click email, announcements and feed, presentation builder. So that's an important point. Our calls are long, our hour calls are long, and there's a lot of talking in there, and so these timestamps are going to help jump you right to the area that matters most to you. So keep that in mind. So now moving back here to our slide deck here. Now we do also have a Facebook page that we're still posting to. We will continue to post there for the time being, but the ASEAConnect.me website is going to be the best spot for you to find our latest and greatest news. Now also inside the app, I do wanted to point out, and we'll talk about it here on today's call, we have an in-app training section that we've given some really solid attention to, and it's going to be a good spot for you to find those quick 3 to 5 minute videos about importing your contacts, email templates, sharing via text message, and more. We have some new features that we're going to talk about today that I'm going to specifically make into an app training video that we're going to put in there. Such as sharing a trackable link using Facebook Messenger. So that's something that we're really excited to show you here today. So on today's call, this is really going to be the schedule of what we're going to go through here today. We're going to talk about how to download the app, talk about your user settings, navigating your media library, syncing your contacts, sharing content, talk to you a little bit about social sharing, and we'll also show you how to follow up with some of your prospects as you're sending this content out to them. And then we're going to talk to you about the business section, and then we'll open it up to our Q&A. Now, this is a good opportunity. I'm going to put this here into the chat now. For anyone who is new to this app, the best thing that's going to help you right now is this FAQ file. We've worked really hard to make sure that this file is complete with a lot of the initial questions that we received as we were preparing to launch this app. So you're going to want to pay attention to that FAQ document, use that as a resource, run through it. You should see it there on the chat on Zoom is where I just dropped that in there. So moving along here, I'm going to skip this next slide because this is our desktop training. So let's bump over here to our last slide. And this is a really good slide that's going to really help a lot of people who seem to be struggling with the app. If you guys need any extra assistance with how to use specific features, I have no problem for you to book some extra time with me so that we can run through a scenario of how to share into social media, for instance. And there's a lot of things that I've helped out with. A lot of them have been more of setting up some initial email templates, showing you the ropes of how to set those up, and also talking to you about the presentation builder. So I've helped you guys with a few of those there, and I can also help you with contact importing as well. That is a topic that a lot of people have questions on, and I've gotten really good at it, and we can get them all done here within about 30 minutes time. So keep that in mind there. I'm going to put these here in the chat as well. The email that I'm also putting in the chat, connect@aseaglobal.com, is a good email address for you to use to reach me if you have any questions regarding the app, any tech support, and anything like that. That is what that email is for, so please don't hesitate to use it. I will be able to help you with anything that you have there. And of course, there's also the support@ASEA Global email account. So if you have something as easy as forgetting your username and password, please send that to support@aseaglobal.com. Since I can't necessarily help you with that on my end, I'm more your tech support for the app. So that covers it for our slideshow. Now what we're going to do here now is I'm going to bring this into a different frame here so that we can focus on our app demo and training today. And give me just a second here to move a few of my windows. Zoom likes to pop up plenty of windows for me. So here's how we're going to do this here today. If you guys have questions about what I'm going to go over today, let's make sure to use the Q&A the Q&A section on Zoom. If you have any questions, type it in there, and then we'll announce it and get you guys taken care of. We have some new people here, so please don't be shy. If you have any questions about something I go over, it's going to be a good opportunity for you to ask some of these questions so that we can make sure everyone's on board and everyone understands kind of what we're talking about here today. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about here is ASEA Connect is a prospecting tool that is free for all associates in its current form. We are exploring some more advanced business building features down the road next year and further that we're exploring some paid options for that. Paid only because it does cost ASEA money to develop and implement these features, and so when you see some of these features that I'm talking about, you will understand why they are some of the nice paid features. There's a lot that this app has potential for that I am unable to talk about, unfortunately, but just know the future of this app is very, very strong, and ASEA is investing a lot of time and a lot of money in on this. So it's a prospecting app. When you're out on the road and someone asks you a question about ASEA, and you want to have a tool that you can use to share content with them, such as what is ASEA Redox. You can use an app such as this to send them a link so they can watch it and understand a little bit more about what it is you're talking about. So that's the main primary purpose of this app, and then you will of course get feedback notifications about them watching the video, asking questions, and things like that. So first things first, downloading the app. If any of you guys are still on ASEA Connect 1.0, I do want to encourage you to go to our app stores and click on your Google Play Store or the other app store, and I believe I just call it App Store there for the iOS devices, and search for ASEA Connect up at the top there, and you'll be able to find this nice blue icon, and it'll say ASEA Connect 2.0. That's what you need to be looking for here today to get the app. And so if you don't have it, please grab it and try to follow along with me with some of the things that we're going to talk about. I'm going to ask that you add yourself in your phone so that you can walk through some of the examples of sharing via text message, just so that you understand how the process works when it comes time to finally share something with ASEA. You want to make sure you know how to do it. So that's how you access the app. And to log in, there are 3 different ways that you can log into this app. You can use your username, your associate ID, or your primary email address. The rule of thumb that I've gone through here is the same credentials that you use to access your virtual office is going to be the same credentials that you're going to use to log into our ASEA Connect app. So keep that in mind. Now, a lot of the content that we're looking at here is going to be content that resides on our virtual office library, which you just saw here into frame. Almost everything that you can find here is going to be available here on our mobile app so that you can share to contacts and prospects as they see that. Some of the items that you're not going to necessarily see on our virtual office, but you will see in the app, are items such as our Share ASEA stories, our different testimonials and things like that. We also have some good social media sharing icons and pictures that you can use on your Facebook page that you're not going to find in the virtual office library. And a lot of our different sections, you should have the See All button here. It's a little bit easier to follow here on the iPad, so let me go through here on this and show you just an example here. On Share ASEA header, if we click on the See All button here, you're going to be able to see all the different videos that we've bundled up into this Share ASEA section. You're going to see items such as the Science of ASEA, ASEA Redox Breakthrough, and things like that. You can sort these even a little bit further if you would like, because I believe it sorts them all chronological based on when we add them into the app. If you wanted to sort them just a step further, you have a little filter button up here at the top, which will allow you to sort them by A to Z or by specific products as well, such as ASEA Via and Renew Advanced. If you do that, now you're only seeing that content regarding to those products. So let's go ahead and here go back. And now that we're here up at the top, let's talk real fast about these banners and what they represent. We'll start here with the Science of ASEA banner because it's here staring at us. If we click on that, you can see that it's going to jump you right to that individual asset for the Science of ASEA. And it's going to be kind of a shortcut for you to get to it. It's kind of a reminder so that you can quickly access it. Now this screen that we're looking at here, this is more of a preview screen where you can choose what you want to do with this asset. You can read more about the asset. You can preview it by hitting this little play button here. And you can see the different tags that it's associated with here. You can mark it as a favorite, which I have already done here. Because you can see here, my favorite section, I have brought that to the top of my content list so that I can always access it and have it ready to go when I need it. Now below all this, you're going to see this little share bar here. Now these are the different action buttons that you as an associate can do with this video. You can email it, you can text message it, you can post it on your social media page, you can copy the link for group messaging and things like that, and you can also download this. So if you are hopping on a plane and you really want to watch this video offline, or maybe download just a handful of ASEA videos, go through the app, click on the download button, then you can watch it without worrying about popping into out of network areas and things like that. Now below that share bar, you can see this little line here. You're going to see a description of the asset. Right here. This little paragraph here is just something we put together for every one of our little assets to help you when it comes to sharing. This is the information that gets passed over when you start to share it via text message. You don't have to use this when you share it, but it at least will help you at least getting something along the way so that you can post it and kind of bring some context to the video that you are sharing. So that's that aspect of it here. Let me look through a couple of these other areas here. The app training section is the next area. I just want to scroll down here and show you. All these blue boxes down here at the bottom is going to be where you're going to want to see our app training section. Let me open up our legal resource section there and fix that. So our app training section is where you're going to find those quick videos that I was talking about here. And just an example here, let me open up this share using text message. Now considering this is a training video, it is not a shareable video, so that is why you're seeing these grayed out here. These training videos are really for you, the associate, who needs a little bit of an extra step up with some of the different training topics. So if we hit play on this here, I'll just show you an example of why these training videos are so helpful to you. How to use the text message share feature of the Go ahead and pause that there and just show you. We follow along here and I show you some of the tips and tricks of how you can share, and it's a very, very helpful resource for you. So definitely don't ignore our app training section as we're going through this. So now back here in the app, I want to show you a couple other sections here. The Share ASEA websites right above the app training section here is a good resource for you to be able to share the ASEA Global website, the Webvention link if you have any last minute people who need to register, such as the ASEA Advancing Life Foundation, ASEA Athletes, ASEA Science, and also over here the I Am ASEA reviews. All of these different sites you can send out and share using a text message. One thing that's nice about this replicated site here is it's going to be mapped directly to your associate. So when you click on your version of this, you're going to have a different associate ID than what I'm showing on my screen here. So keep that in mind. When you share that link out, your contacts and prospects are going to get to your website so that you will get credit for that. So moving along here, I want to talk to you a little bit more about how to kind of sort this list how you want it. Now, as you start marking things as your favorite, you may find that your favorite bar is going to be down at the bottom of your page here. And in case you don't want to scroll through all that content, you have this nice little filter button up here at the top right of your app that you can click on, and it will pull up all of the different content headers that we have here in the app. You can then grab them and resort them and reorganize them as you see fit. So for instance, if your favorites was at the bottom, you can bring it up at the top by dragging it using these 3 lines here. You can also turn different content areas on and off if you would like. So moving along, as we transition away from the media library aspect of this, I want to talk to you now about how to sync contacts into the ASEA Connect app. So down here at the bottom we have our main navigation bar. You got tools, contacts. You're not going to have learn yet, feed, and business. So if you click on contacts here, you're going to get access to the contacts. Now if this is your first time accessing the contacts, you are going to find that it's going to ask you what you would like to do. Would you like to sync all contacts or select contacts? If you hit select all contacts, every single contact from your phone is going to be then available on the ASEA Connect app. I find it's a little bit easier to bring over individual contacts so that you can be selective of who you want to work with in the ASEA Connect app. Some people, they find it easier just to have it sync over 100% of the way so that they never have to worry about contacts. They can go through the app and mark them as hot and cold contacts so that they can easily find their ASEA related contacts. So keep that in mind. There's 2 different ways to do that. The easiest I find is select contacts, because I have a handful of contacts I know I'm never going to share any ASEA information with, and so I do not want to clutter them up inside my ASEA Connect app. So an example of what that screen looks like here. Looks like mine's already stuck on select contacts. So if you do select contacts on the Android device, for instance, you are going to see this screen here, and it's going to ask you which contacts you would like to sync over to the app. And all you have to do here is click on the sync buttons here, like so, and it'll change from blue to gray to let you know that it has been synced to the app. When you are done with selecting who you want to sync, hit the X at the top left, and those contacts will now be added into the ASEA Connect app for sharing. For the iPad or the iOS devices, if we click on Sync Device Contacts, up at the top you have a Sync All button. You don't necessarily want to use that if you don't have to. You can go through here and you can just sync some of these contacts just like this, and we can find some of these contacts that we want to sync over. I have everyone synced over that I'd like synced over in the app right now, but when you click on Sync and click on Done up at the top right, that is where they're going to then be added here into the app. So once you start building your contact list, and let's say you start adding 5 or 10 contacts to the app, you're going to want to know how to better organize them or sort them by creating lists. Now the way you want to do that is using the hot and cold method of categorizing your contacts. So as an example, with this bet customer or this contact I have here, I want to mark her as a hot contact so that I know that she is a hot lead and somebody who I want to reach out with on a regular basis. So in order to do that, I can pull them over to the right like so, and you can see that she gets a nice little red circle to let me know that she is a hot lead. Now an example here, Uber Dave down at the bottom, I can pull him over and mark him as a hot lead. Uber Jerry, however, he doesn't want anything to do with ASEA, so I'm going to swipe him to the left and he's going to be marked as a cold lead. As you start organizing this list and cleaning it up how you want, you can then hit the hot and cold buttons here at the top to then see those contacts. If you have a lot of contacts that you want to categorize your own way, you can click this button here next to my mouse, and it will generate kind of a way for you to quickly categorize all your contacts. So for instance, this when you click on that button here, it enables this swipe mode, which you can then grab this contact and pull it over to the left or the right to mark it as a hot or cold. If you do not know what this contact is because you haven't reached out to them yet, swipe it up to the top to skip it, swipe it to the right to mark it as hot, swipe it to the left to mark it as cold, and let's say you didn't mean to import .NET into the app, you can then scroll that one to the bottom and hide that contact so that you will never see it here in the app. So you can go through this and mark all of your contacts as hot or cold, like so, until your whole list is categorized to people who you know are actively engaged in ASEA content and they want to know more. So as you start going through that, I do want to make sure to point out that in case you're using the desktop tool and adding contacts that way, a good way to make sure that you're always up to date on your contacts is by doing a pull down to refresh. So on most of our little pages here, you're going to have this feature, pull down to refresh. As I do that here on my iPad, it's going to grab any contacts, maybe from my desktop tool, and it's going to bring them down just like that. And make sure I have them here on my iPad. This feature also works on the main page here. If you grab the banner and pull down, you are going to refresh all of your content to make sure you get the latest and greatest videos. As we're getting close to our webvention, you're going to see a lot of different videos. We're going to be having a whole section of video content that's going to be unlocked here in the app, which you will then be able to access and be on top of that. So just to make sure you have the latest videos, that pull down to refresh is what you're going to want to use. So back over here on the contacts area, let's talk through here real fast about adding a manual contact. So I have gone through here and I've added a couple different Uber drivers. I just want to show you the process of adding a manual contact here. On the iPad, if I hit a plus button up here at the top right, let's say I met an Uber driver. Uber, let's try that again here. Uber Jane. I met Jane on my Uber ride, and she was very interested in the ASEA Via product line. She really liked the Omega, and so she wanted some more information about that. I'm going to go ahead and add her phone number here. I'm just going to put in a fake phone number here. And let's throw down an email address too. Just a fake email there. In the notes section, I can type something like, "Wants more info about ASEA Via." You know, you can categorize your stuff here and make it a little bit easier for you when you're coming across them again. Like so. So let's hit done here. And now I should have a new contact at the bottom of my screen, Uber Jane. Now Uber Jane, she's actively interested, so I'm going to mark her as a hot contact by pulling her to the right, like so. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, as you guys are adding manual contacts into your ASEA Connect app, you're going to want to then use the desktop platform that complements the app to maybe send them extra emails or extra content using the email platform. So in order for them to sync from the mobile app to the desktop app, you need to mark them as a hot or cold contact or start sharing with them on the app. So keep that in mind. If I wanted Sage here to sync over to my desktop platform, I need to start sharing something with Sage or mark her as a hot or cold contact. That's how the process works. When you add somebody manually, it's not going to immediately add it to the desktop app until you take action with them. So now that we have Uber Jane here, let's go through the process of sharing some content with Jane. That's the next thing on our list that we want to talk about. So let's go ahead and click on Jane here. And just for purposes here, I'm going to change her phone number here to my own phone number, because I would like to simulate the process of sharing this via a text message. So let's make sure that Jane is added over here onto my Android device as well. And I'm going to make sure that the phone number is also synced over there. So just on the Android device, I'm going to sync that over here, and I should have Jane come into frame over here. I'm going to double check that in just a second. So in this downtime for just a second, go ahead and add yourself into the ASEA Connect app so that you can begin sharing with yourself. Let's see if Jane got added. Uber Jane, here she is. Perfect, and the phone number has been updated. So the way it was able to sync from my iPad over to the Android device is because it synced up to the desktop, and then it synced back over to my Android device. And so that's the process there. So now that Uber Jane has my phone number, I want to start sharing an ASEA via video with her. So you can click on the contact to get this screen up here. This screen is going to show you all of your information about the notes. It looks like the notes are still having some issues with the iOS devices. So keep that in mind. As you're adding notes, they don't seem to be transferring up to the desktop app, but the notes are definitely being saved on your contacts, on your device, so keep that in mind. So I'm just going to add a quick note here for Jane. Just add some quick context to the notes here. And now let's go through the process of sharing something with Jane. So now we have this button here for Share Tools. Now I can click on this button here, like so, and click on Share Tools. And now what pulls into frame here is all of the content that we can share with Jane. Different text message, or excuse me, different social media images, product resources, perks and incentives. But remember, Jane is interested in the ASEA Via products. So let's maybe go through here and see if there is something that we can share with Jane, maybe a ASEA Via video. So what we can do here is we can go to the Share ASEA section here. Maybe up here at the top, let's do a search. Let's search for Via. Alright, you can see a few of these different images are pulling into frame here. Let's scroll down to the bottom of my list here and look at what we got. Now we have PDFs here. And down here below our keyboard, just so you guys don't get tripped up here on this, as you start typing here, it still thinks you're ready to type. You're going to have to hide your keyboard like so to see the extra content in here. So there are other videos, obviously, as we started typing in here, but they get hidden by the keyboard. So keep that in mind if you guys are trying to find a specific video and you know you've seen it and it's not showing up on your search. Make sure you hide your keyboard on your device so that you can find it. So it looks like we have a duplicate video here. That's fine. That's something I'll correct here down the road. So let's click on this ASEA Via products here. Now this is one that I've already marked as my favorite. I know about it, so let's go ahead and share this with Jane. So let's share it with her via text message by hitting this little text message icon. Okay, it's going to tell me to make sure I only send this to Jane because it's going to tell me when Jane opens it and when Jane watches it and how much of it she watches every time. So let's hit OK. It's going to open up our text messaging tool here. Whichever device you're using is going to open up either Android Messenger or iMessage. Now up here at the top, this is where we can take the time to clean up this long paragraph that I have given you right here. And you can honestly go through the process of deleting it or sharing it just fine. So you can adjust anything here to present it any better than you want. So let's just go ahead and introduce Jane here on this. And then we'll give her that full paragraph there. So now that we've done doing that, let's go ahead and send this off. You can see this link down here. This is the magic link that's going to contain all of the tracking information. So as I go to send this here, let's wait for that reply to come in, and let's transport ourselves and pretend like we are Jane so that we can understand what this process is going to be like here. Alright, so we just sent that off to Jane. So now if I go through the process here of clicking on this, I'm going to open it up and pretend like I'm Jane, and I'm going to watch this video. And if all goes well, my iPad should start getting notified that Jane is watching my video.
We all have a purpose, a reason to take care of our health.
Okay, you notice up here at the top, my Android device is on Do Not Disturb mode, but I do have a notification here. Uber Jane has viewed the ASEA Redox, or excuse me, the ASEA Via product video.
So that we can thrive.
And as for my iPad here, you can also see I have text message notifications coming into frame there as well. Okay. So Jane's going to watch the video. She's going to get maybe halfway through it and maybe get busy with her day. So let's go through the process here and going back into the app and talk about these different notifications that Jane went through. Now these different links, before I leave this page, I do want to show you here that you have these different areas where Jane can click on to get more information, she can click on the order button to order directly, giving you the you would get the points and the awards for the order if they click on order. The credit is the word I was looking for there. And so as they click on that, you can see that my app is also going to get another notification in regards to that. So as we bounce back in here to the app, let me show you a thing or two here real quick. So bouncing back into the app, we got two different notifications here. You can see Uber Jane has viewed the video. So what that does here, that tells us that she has watched the video content. Now, you as the associate, you're going to get an alert on your end, which is going to be then transferred into the feed section into the app. So as we click through this X here to get back to the main area, you're going to want to click on the feed button down here at the bottom. The feed button is an area where you're going to find all of your different prospect activities and different actions that they're going to go through here. The first time accessing the feed, you're going to see this little intro screen just like this. And you can see here, as we click on this, you can see that Jane has started watching the content. You can see all the information right here in exactly how much she watched, what she clicked on, and things like that. These actions are a very, very good way for you to see what your contacts or prospects are going through. It looks a little bit cleaner on my iPad. I got a few more different contact images. So let's click on my actions up here at the top here. And you can see an example of what a nice full screen looks like. Granted, I only share with myself here on this, but you can get an idea of, as you start using this app, you're going to start seeing a lot of good information, and it will also archive into the previous month as well, so that you can go back and say see some of the different things that you've sent somebody, and all of it is saved directly onto your contacts as well. So up at the top of the screen here, let's look at what Jane did here. She clicked on the video. She visited the site, she watched the video. It says here she only watched about 5%, that sounds about right, and she clicked on the link for order. Now you as an associate, you have the power to then mark this as a reminder to follow up with Jane on a different day. Maybe it's late in the night and you want to set yourself a reminder. To do that, pull these actions over to the right to mark it as a reminder. You know it's been marked as a reminder when you see a little blue button here at the top, or a little blue circle there. Now as you mark it as your reminder, you can find all of your reminders here by clicking on the reminders button, and you can see all of the reminders that you have for Jane. So as you follow up with Jane, you can simply click on her and get transported right to her contact, send her a quick phone call, and ask her if she had any questions about the ASEA video that she watched, and so on. After you're done with your reminder, you can swipe it over to the right again and mark it as done, and then it disappears out of frame, out of mind there that way. This area is a good area to also talk about our custom reminders. A lot of people have used this feature. Up there at the top right, you'll see that little alarm clock icon. You can use this feature to then mark a custom reminder to be reminded every Wednesday at 6 p.m. to follow up with your prospects. And so if you want to get notified on your app in your pocket that you need to follow up with your contacts, set up a quick custom reminder that's going to come into frame, or it's going to notify you every day, or excuse me, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. You could even also do it every day if you would like. And so for instance, we'll do end date not set, repeat. We can do every Wednesday, every Monday, and also every Friday. And as we do that, we're going to get notified those days for follow up with prospects, like so. Now, as we set that custom reminder, we're going to get alerted on that time to jump into action and follow up with anybody who's watched any videos or requested more information and things like that. Now, one area I wanted to make sure to point that I kind of skimmed over here real fast, up here at the top, if you do not have an image like on my Android device here, it just says DW. If you want an image on there, you can click on that icon here, go to My Info, and this is an area where you can spend some time and making sure this information is accurate, add a nice image for yourself, and also create a nice bio. As you share content with some of your prospects, you are going to be sending them to a page that has your phone number and email. So make sure that that information is accurate so that you get notified when they're sending you emails and so on. And it has a little bit of difficulty syncing between devices, and so as I update my bio, you'll see that my picture will come into frame here. like so. Now, one thing to also point out that I'm not sure is going to really affect a lot of people on the call here today, but if you click on your image here to get to the settings, the market and language area is a good area for you to change the different content language. For instance, we're working on adding content for every ASEA market, for every language. If you want to look at the United States Spanish content, adjusting the content language is how you're going to want to do that. So now moving along here, let's take a look at our notes and kind of see where we're at here now. Alright, so we shared an example text message with Uber Jane. I walked you through the process there. Let's say we want to share something with somebody on Facebook and we do not have their phone number or email address. Now, just recently, the app has announced a new feature to us here at ASEA, and I do want to kind of give you a sneak peek of how to use this. If you have a contact that you would like to share a Facebook link with, you now have the power to share that link to them and receive tracking information about that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend like we have a Facebook friend named Jane, and we're going to call her Facebook Jane. And I'm going to add her here into my app here and show you. We'll call her Jane Facebook. Now this is a contact that we don't have any phone number information with, but what you're going to need to do as a workaround for this method is you will have to add a fake phone number for Jane just for the sake of getting her added into the app so that we can generate a trackable link. So like I did here, I'm creating a quick phone number here. I can hit done. Now I should have a Jane Facebook somewhere here in my account. There it is. Jane Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and mark her as a hot contact, and I want to now share something with ASEA via to her Facebook Messenger link. So as we click on Jane here, I can click on Share Tools, and let's go ahead and find maybe this brand new We Are Redox video here. Let's click on that. Now, in order to share this on Facebook, you got this social button here now that you can click on and share this with Jane with a trackable link, so that when Jane opens it on Facebook Messenger, for instance, you are going to get notified that they're watching the video and going through the content. So as we click on social here, it's then going to ask me which app would you like you to share socially with. Any app that's installed on your phone can go through the process with that. So anytime you're dealing with social media, I do want to make sure to point out that you will need to write a unique message, because Facebook is very sensitive with different spam and things like that. And so when you're sharing something, let's go ahead and just change this up here. Maybe I'll just delete this top frame here. Here is the link to register. Just something like that. Let's go ahead and hit copy there. Let's go ahead and open up my Facebook Messenger. It's a new feature here, so let's make sure that this all works just like we need to here. And let's search for myself. We're just going to share it with myself here. And let's hit OK. Let me return this down here. So if I hit send on that now, I should send that on Facebook Messenger with that link. And it should now be trackable. So let's go here and let me open up my Facebook Messenger and get an idea of what just happened there. As I click on that here, okay, we sent that link, a nice trackable link here. Now if I paste this in, I can paste in the Hi Jane, here's that link to register, and so on. So that's one way that you can share a trackable link using Facebook Messenger. So there is that workaround of adding a quick fake phone number, but as we get better with our social sharing aspects, you guys are going to find that it's going to be a pretty valuable asset to you. So the next thing I want to show you here real fast while we're on the topic of Facebook and social sharing is how to share a Facebook recognition image. And that's the one I'd like to showcase the most, because that's the one people are using the most right now. So if we go to our Share Social Media section and click on See All, we have a lot of different images here that we can share on Facebook. So the ones that I'm interested in right now is our recognition. Let's say that we have somebody named Steve who just achieved Gold Executive. So let's click on Gold Executive Social Media Badge here, and it's going to pull up the image. You can preview it and things like that. Let's click on the social button down here at the bottom. I'll try to follow with my mouse here for you guys. Now, you can see we have an example message. As we use the example message here, and the reason it does want it to be unique is because it will try to maximize the algorithms on Facebook so that it doesn't get marked as spam. So you will always have to make it unique by at least 10%. Because if you try to copy this and post this on Facebook, it's going to get mad at you and tell you need to change it at least 10%. So let's hit got it. And let's go ahead and add a quick line. Great job, Steve. Steve with a T. Alright, just like that, let's share that with Steve. So now as we hit copy, it's going to let us copy that because it's different now, and it's going to allow me to post it as a unique message on Facebook. So now I can scroll through all my social media apps here. I'm looking for Facebook. There it is. I'm going to click on Facebook here. And now it's going to pull it up into frame. It's going to prepare to post this on Facebook. Now what we need to do now is we need to paste. You remember the previous action was copy, and now we have to paste. What we're pasting is that unique message so that we can post it right here. So if I click up here at the top and hit paste, I'm going to be able to post this here for Steve. Congrats on achieving Gold Executive. Great job, Steve. Now I believe you can also go to the process of doing I thought you could do an app mention on here, but it may not be working here at this moment in time. I know Facebook's been making some major updates to their desktop app. So let's go ahead and post this here. And right now you can see I'm only sharing this only to me, just as the example purposes of today's demo. So let's hit next. This next screen is where you can share it to different groups, to your story and things like that. Let's go ahead and share it with only me as an example. And as you share this, you can see that it's been successfully shared to Facebook. And as we bounce over to Facebook, like so, and we click on my Facebook image there, we can see here's an example of the post that I just made for Steve because he achieved Gold Executive. And this is where you can kind of go as far as adding more comments. Pretend like your other associates, giving Steve some props for getting Gold Executive, things like that. So another nice thing about posting on Facebook is using the copy link function. So let's say you're posting something about Renew Advanced, about a new promotion, new products, new images and things like that, and you want people to then get back to your replicated site. One thing that you can do with the app now is you can copy your own replicated site link. If we jump over here into the ASEA Connect app and we go back here to our different pieces of content that we can share, let's go ahead and find the shareable websites. Here we go. Share ASEA websites. If we click on a replicated site here, we can hit the copy button here at the bottom. Now this link can be used anywhere. We can paste this to anybody on a text message. We can paste it to anybody on a group message, Facebook, wherever. This is just a quick way for you to grab a link and send it off to whoever you need to send it to. So let's go back into Facebook, and as we post that link down here on the comments, like so, paste my site for more info. Something like that, right? So as we paste that now, that nice little link that we have there, people will be able to see that and click on that, and when they click on it, they're going to be then transported to your own replicated site where they can get more information about whatever product you're promoting or talking about on Facebook. So there's some really cool ways that you can do that using that copy link function. So I hope you guys definitely pay attention to that. That's a very powerful tool that we're really excited about with this version of the app here. So this last section, I know I've been going a little long here. I want to show you just real fast our business section. Now you're going to get a nice little sneak peek on the business section real fast. Let me get back here to my home page. As I click on business, you can see that I have something that you do not have on your end, and these are different tiles or different virtual office reporting that we're working on adding here into the app. We're still working on some testing of the different tiles, but when you go to your business section, you're going to be able to see your stats immediately in your pocket, live updating, and see where you're at on your next rank and things like that. So you're going to hear more about this as we talk into our webvention next week, so keep that in mind. Now, on my iPad, it doesn't look like it wants to show the rest of the additional services down there at the bottom, but if I click on business here and go on my Android device, yeah, I'm not sure why it's not showing up here on this. We have maybe there's just a small bug there that we're still working out, but you're going to find additional services such as links to the back office, links to other areas of ASEA, so that business section that you have, you may have access to that, so that you can jump into the virtual office to do a quick check on an order and things like that. So without further ado, let's open this up to a question and answer with anybody here who is live on the call, and see if there's anything that you guys may be stumped on or anything that I might be able to help you answer. I know I went over a lot of topics here today. We're really excited. I tried to talk slow to make sure you guys can follow along. Let me go ahead and enable you guys to talk here. And let me look through my chat here to see if I have any questions. Alright, we had a couple of people join late, so before I get the question here, I do want to make sure to point out that all of our calls are all recorded, and we do post them up on our ASEAConnect.me landing page. So let me pull this into frame here and I'll show you what this page is going to show you. Right here. ASEAConnect.me is our landing page that has all of our different features about the app and things that you can pay attention to. The training button here at the top is where you're going to find all of our training information, and you can go here to watch our latest trainings. Here's one I did on Tuesday. This one focuses on the desktop platform, and so you can watch that to get an idea of what you missed there. And after we're done with tonight's call, I'll post it up there as well. So does anybody have any questions about anything I went over today, or anything that they'd like some advice on, or anything that they're working through? You can either unmute and ask me live, or answer or ask something in the Q&A section for me. All right. Well, if we don't have any live questions here today, do not hesitate to send me an email or message me using the connect@ASEAglobal.com. This email address is the email that you're going to want to use to reach me for any tech support issues. And additionally, if you need any extra help, you can always schedule some time, and I will make sure to get you guys confident and comfortable with these new awesome tools that ASEA is providing all of their associates. So I hope you guys have yourself an excellent Thursday evening, and hope you guys are doing well. And I'm going to get this cut and go upstairs and have some dinner. And you guys have yourself a great evening, and I'll catch you on the next call. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.